What's the vibe, my perspective peeps? Positive, I hope. He has a perspective. She has a perspective. You have a perspective. Welcome to the Tara perspective. Let's take a sip and let it rip. Today I'm sipping on sweet tea. What are you sipping on? Let it rip. Today I'm going to be giving my perspective on the South Carolina versus Rick Chow trial. I'll start by talking about what I saw on the very clear video that was shown during the trial. What I saw was a young 14-year-old black male enter a Shell gas station owned by the Chow family. Rick Chow, his wife, and that day working was Andy Chow. The 14-year-old Cyrus walked into the Shell gas station. He was not greeted with a hello, how are you doing? Nothing pleasant. It was, put your backpack on the ice cream chest. That's the first thing that was said to him. He followed and was compliant with putting his backpack on the ice cream chest. I understand that that's the policy. I understand that. However, could have been a little more pleasant. As soon as he entered, the son and the mother had all eyes on him. There wasn't anyone else in the store at the time, but their whole demeanor changed. Cyrus came in and looked around for a while and ended up looking into a water cooler. He looked in the water cooler, he opened it, took 4 waters out, put 4 waters back in. So I would have thought, as closely as he was being watched, that they would have seen him take them out, put them back in. Mrs. Chow was standing right behind him. She acted like she was fixing some chips at one time on the shelf and things like that, but really, literally following him. Now, as someone myself who can actually speak on being racially profiled before in a store, I can understand even if he was going to buy something, it was said he didn't have any money. If he was going to steal something or whatever the case may have been, I can definitely understand him not doing anything but leaving that store. But because when I was racially profiled, it looked a little different. It was something like, may I help you? May I help you? Maybe 1,000 times. May I help you? May I help you? As I told the associate, if I need some help, I do know how to find you and ask for help, but I'm knowing that you're following me. So I leave those type of stores because I don't need pressure when I'm going to shop. So I don't know what Cyrus was thinking or feeling at the time, but eventually he grabbed his backpack and was about to leave the store. But before he could leave the store, Andy Chow says, hey, get that water out the front of your hoodie. Give me the water. And Cyrus is like, I don't have any water. Cyrus did have on a hoodie with the hood and the front pocket in the front. So he says, I don't have a water. He shook it. Miss Chow comes up, give us the water. You know, we know you took a water or whatever was said. He says, I don't have a water. He leaves out of the store like a normal person would do. He walks out of the store. Miss Chow says something in their native language, and the son runs out of the store behind Cyrus, and here comes the dad running out from the back, running after Cyrus across the parking lot. Also, something that I saw when Cyrus first entered that store, Miss Chow came behind the counter and took her cell phone out of her back pocket, did something on it, not sure if she was texting Mr. Chow, could have been, not sure what she was doing. She put her phone back. So they're chasing, Mr. Chow and Andy is chasing Cyrus across their parking lot. As they run across the parking lot, his white Air Force One shoe, he's running so fast, he ran out of his shoe. So he ran, they say they ran about 130 yards. He ran across the street, ended up falling, hurting his shin. And at the time he fell, a laser came off of a gun that he had in the front pouch. So it turns out Cyrus had a gun in his front pouch of his hoodie, didn't pull it on anybody. And I know a lot of people say he shouldn't have had the gun. I agree with you. However, having a gun doesn't mean you should be shot in the back. Okay, so the laser comes out. Maybe the gun came out with it. Nobody knows. Cyrus is hurt. He tries to get up and run some more. Never could stand straight up from what the witnesses said. Andy Chow says, Cyrus, he didn't say Cyrus, but he said he has a gun, he has a gun, he has a gun. Dad heard him say he has a gun and shot the young man in the back. Okay, so it was said by the Chows that Dad, Rick Chow, was protecting his son because Cyrus had a gun pointing it at his son, Andy, whereas, remember I just said, Cyrus fell a couple of times. All he was trying to do was run for his life. So I really don't see him at that point grabbing a gun, pointing it. He was trying to run for his life. However, I do believe Andy said, I saw he has a gun, he has a gun, he had a gun. But pointing it at you to shoot you, that's a different story, okay? So Dad shoots him in the back. Well, there was a witness that was pulling into the Shell gas station at the time they were running across this parking lot. So she was able to see everything. There were 4 witnesses total in this trial. She had her daughter in the car with her. She had another family member in the car with her. And then there was another young man riding by that ended up having to stop in the street as they ran by. So one of these witnesses, as she pulled up to the scene, she said, "Is everything okay?" And Mr. Chow said, "No, call 911. So in the trial, it made it appear that Mr. Chow was actually concerned. They were calling 911 and all of this, but the witness's account was that Mr. Chow told her to dial 911. I'm not sure at what point Mr. Chow or his son, Andy, dialed 911. So when the witness comes up, she sees Mr. Chow still in a standing shooting stance over Cyrus. She sees blood on Mr. Chow's hand, but she doesn't see any blood coming from anyone. So she says, "Who's hurting? I see blood on your hands. Who's hurting?" He says, "He is." So keep in mind, when the witness came up, Cyrus was actually on his back. So she couldn't see the blood because he was shot in the back, which means Rick Chow had to roll him over, touch him, to have blood on his hands, and was still in a standing shooting stance, as if Cyrus could get up and do anything to him. The witness said that she cleared leaves out of Cyrus's mouth because it appeared that he could not breathe well. She said she did not know CPR. So she prompted Mr. Chow, "Please give him CPR, give him CPR. I don't know CPR." Another young lady came to the scene and started giving chest compressions. But in the trial, it was said, "Oh, Mr. Chow cared so much about him. You know, he didn't mean to kill him. He was helping him. He was giving breaths and even spitting out vomit out of his mouth as he took vomit out of Cyrus's mouth and made it seem so life-saving." However, it appears that everyone forgot that the witness said she removed leaves from his mouth with her finger and prompted Mr. Chow to do CPR. But of course, it was painted that he was so helpful. Okay, he did CPR, etc. So, in my opinion, I don't see anything that Cyrus did to deserve to be shot in the back. However, the Chows say he pointed a gun at Andy Chow. But keep in mind, 4 witnesses who happened to be Black, 4 witnesses had the same story. We never saw Cyrus with anything in his hand. We saw him run. We saw him fall. We never saw him point a gun. Andy Chow says he threw his hands up, stepped back in the street to retreat. Witnesses never saw any of this. So you have one Andy Chow saying he pointed a gun at me. You have 4 witnesses saying we never saw anything